Hello and welcome to this latest lesson in the Year 8 Planning Digital Animations series of work. Within this lesson we're going to be moving on to utilize Blender to create a basic computer game character. Before we start, your do now task is to answer the 3 questions displayed on the board. I'd like to know please what Blender is used for, what are the key features that makes Blender so useful, and then how much will Blender cost if you wanted to download that at home. You need to complete those questions into your book and complete those as far as you can independently. You can certainly use the internet to help you, as that's not necessarily a set of questions you're going to know the answer to. So pause the video at this point and give yourself 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions displayed on the board. So as I said, this is lesson number 5 in the Planning Digital Animations series of work. Within this lesson we're going to be utilizing Blender and we're going to create some basic computer game characters. By the end of this lesson you're going to understand what Blender is, along with an overview of its key features. You're going to be able to open and then use the basic features of Blender, and we'll consider that sort of a real starting point for the next couple of lessons. And hopefully you'll be able to build a basic computer game character within the Blender interface. So before we go any further, let's look at the answers that you should have found as part of your do now task. So Blender is a piece of software that can be used to create highly complex characters as well as digital animations. Those characters can then go on and star in computer games. It has a wide range of features, but can have a really steep learning curve. So within this unit of work at least, we're going to really focus on the basic aspects of Blender. The good news is that it's free to download, so everything that we go through here today you can play with at home as part of the free download from the Blender website. Now Blender is some really high-end software, so we've got a little video that you can click on and watch to see the sort of thing that you can create in Blender when your skills get to that point. Pause the video, have a watch of the video that's posted into the description section below, and then we're going to have a look at how we can create our basic character within Blender. So we now find ourselves within the Blender application. You can find Blender within the Start menu. And we're presented with a couple of different options. So we've got some different new file types here. For everything we do at the moment, we're going to be looking for a general new file. And if we click on general, we're going to be taken to the Blender application. Within Blender, you'll see you've got a couple of key items that are created for you. So we've got the camera, and the camera is this sort of rectangular shape with an odd comb behind it. And this is showing you the angle from which your scene is being recorded. You want to think around where your camera is as you begin to create your animation. We've also over here got a light source, and we'll be looking at that within the next lesson and how we can set that to be a sunlight source that creates a shadow on our main animation. Finally, we've got our cube within the center of our Blender screen. Now you'll notice that our cube is very much 3-dimensional. Blender is a 3-dimensional animation suite, and that's going to be really important as we look through this lesson. Now to rotate round like this, I'm clicking on the mouse wheel in the middle of my mouse and then dragging my mouse around, and by clicking down on the mouse wheel I can look at my animation from every angle. So we've got side to side, and that's going to be our green axis here. We've got forward and backwards, and that's our red axis. But we've also got up and down, and we can sort of see that as I move my animation wheel around. For this animation, we're not going to really want our cube, so we're going to click our cube, we're going to make sure that's selected in orange, and we're going to hit the delete key on our keyboard, or we're going to right click on the item and go to delete, and we're going to remove that out. And what we've got now is a very blank animation canvas with a camera, a light source, but nothing else really going on. We can add items into our animation canvas by going to add, and we've got there a range of different items. Now for these first lessons, mesh are going to be the only key bit that we're going to look at. If we go to add and then mesh, we're going to go to the bottom and add a monkey, and this is going to add us a monkey face, and we can zoom in by again using our mouse wheel onto our monkey face, and if we rotate round we can see that as a very 3-dimensional monkey head. So the animators here have created us a basic template, and you can see that we've got all sorts of different angles there to create our monkey's head. Now, if we click on monkey, so he's definitely selected, we've got our sort of orange selection tool around him. And then we're going to look towards the left-hand menu over here. And just like Photoshop or Premiere Pro, we've got a range of different items over here. I'm going to want to rotate my monkey so he's facing more towards the camera. So if I click my rotate, I've got a number of different options. The blue lets me rotate sort of from side to side. I might also decide that I'm going to angle monkey upwards or sort of around on the different axes that I've got available here. Now, for the time being, I'm happy with monkey facing fairly forward. I've also got the up and down and the side to side movements. So again, I can move monkey up a little bit so he is definitely facing towards our camera. I've also here got the scale tool, and that allows me to resize monkey on different axes. So I could go for a very thin and tall monkey. I could reduce monkey's height and make him nice and fat. Or I could reduce monkey's sort of general width by using that red axis. These tools here are going to be the key ones that you need for this lesson. You've also got transform there that you can have a play around with if you wish to. So we've got move, we've got rotate, and we've got scale. In a moment, I'd like you to open up Blender. I'd like you to remove the rectangle that's there by default. I'd like you to add a monkey mesh. And then I'd like you to have a play around with the different tools that are available to you here so that you can resize your monkey and make it so that monkey is definitely facing towards the camera. So now that you've seen that demo, I'd like you to open Blender and create the basic party monkey. I'd like you to have a play around with the camera view and make sure that monkey is always going to be in view of the camera when we come to create our animation. I'd also like you to have a play around with the different tools, so to rotate, to resize and align monkey so that he's definitely in view of that camera. Pause the video at this point and give yourself 6 minutes to open Blender, create your basic monkey, and then have a play around with the various controls that will become really important as part of this unit. Pause the video at this point. Now, the first thing that any good party monkey needs is a party hat. So we need to create monkey a hat that's going to go on top, obviously, of his head. So we're going to go to add, we're going to go to mesh, and we're looking for the cone shape. And to me, the cone looks like the right sort of shape for monkey's party hat. Now, if we insert our cone to start with, we've definitely got a problem in that the cone is not necessarily the right shape, but certainly isn't in the right position to be sat on monkey's head. So I'm going to select my cone. I'm going to go to my my movement arrows on the side, and I'm certainly going to want to move my party hat up. Now, this is where you need to really think about the fact this animation is 3-dimensional. So just because monkey looks fine from this angle doesn't necessarily mean he's going to look fine from the side on. So on mine he does, but we could say that from the front something like that might look okay, but definitely wouldn't when we were looking from the side on. So we need to consider where monkey's hat is in all 3 dimensions. Is it okay from underneath monkey? Is it okay from in front of monkey? And is it okay from the side of monkey? Now, we also need to think around whether monkey's hat is the right size. So I just want to scale his hat down a little bit. And we might decide that monkey is going to have a little bit of an angled party hat, which might mean our movement needs to be again adjusted. Okay, so I've got my monkey there, and I'm thinking, does this look fine from every dimension? And when I look from side on, it doesn't look right. So monkey's hat is definitely far too far forward on his head. So I need to think from all of the different angles, does monkey's hat look in about the right position to be sort of floating just on top of monkey's head? And I'm fairly happy there that now my monkey's hat looks like it is definitely propped up on his head. So again, you're going to need those different tools as you begin to investigate your party monkey and thinking around that 3-dimensional aspect of Blender, which is going to be really important as we start to look at the next lesson. Over the side, you can zoom in and zoom out. You can also then use your mouse wheel to zoom in on monkey and check him from a couple of different angles. Now, once we've done that, we're going to need to think about creating Monkey a body. And this bit is a little bit harder in that when we go add and mesh, there really aren't any shapes there that are super appropriate for Monkey's body. So for this bit, you're going to have to be a little bit creative. I'm going to add a cylinder, and I'm going to want to use my cylinder as part of Monkey's neck. And I want to create a neck for Monkey. I'm going to create my neck nice and small. I'm then going to need to move that so that definitely connects into sort of Monkey's head. Okay, and I'm going to want that neck to go down from Monkey's head, and that will later on connect to my body. Now again, that three-dimensional aspect is really important. Are we checking Monkey from every different angle? I'm happy there that Monkey's neck is pretty much close to where I want it to be. You've got a couple options for the body. We could go for a cube-based body and create a rectangle from that. We could go from a cylinder, or we could go from another cone and create Monkey a sort of a female monkey sort of dress style body. I'm going to go for this one for a cube. And even though I've created a cube, I can then go into the resize, and by using the different arrows, I can create a more sort of rectangular shaped cube. And I'm going to use that as part of Monkey's body. Now again, I need to be thinking, where is that connected from all three dimensions, and does it look like it's fitting well from wherever I look on Monkey? Now this sort of skill is used when creating computer game characters, and we need our computer game characters to look right from every angle, particularly on a modern games console. So I'm thinking around there as that as sort of Monkey's body. Now again, there's no perfect shape for a body within Blender, so we could be thinking around rotating that and moving that round to make that as lifelike as we possibly can. We're then going to be looking to add some arms and some legs, and you can use anything within add and mesh to create that. So any of those shapes you find within mesh could be suitable. We might use a UV sphere as part of the hands or feet. We might use cubes to create the arms and make some very rectangular shapes, and then maybe some cylinders or some cones rotated as part of Monkey's legs. Your challenge for the next 15 to 20 minutes is to create Party Monkey with a party hat as an absolute non-negotiable, but also ideally a party body that Monkey can use to dance around. You've got about 20 or so minutes to create that, and it's really important you check your Party Monkey from every angle to make sure if we were using this as a game character, he would look good in a modern computer game. Good luck. So now that we've seen the second demonstration, we should be ready to create a Party Monkey with a body. We're going to add a party hat onto Monkey, and we're going to ensure that the hat looks correct from all of the different three dimensions. We're then going to use add and mesh to create Monkey a party body. We're going to need a variety of different shapes. So you're going to need the cone, the rectangle, probably some of the sphere shapes to create all of the different body parts of Monkey. I'd then like you to use all of the skills that you've learned within this lesson to make sure that your character is well aligned, well proportioned, so the head is the correct sort of size in relation to the body, and that your monkey could be ready to start in the next Donkey Kong game or similar. Pause the video at this point and give yourself 15 minutes to create your Party Monkey. So there's a very basic example of the sort of thing you might have created. Hopefully yours has been a lot more imaginative than that. That one there is really the minimum expectation for this lesson. Now if you haven't created something to that sort of quality, pause the video at this point and have another go. So as part of this lesson, you've hopefully met all of the three objectives displayed on the board. You hopefully understand what Blender is, as well as the key features that make Blender so usable. You've hopefully also had a play with those key features, and you're ready to build on those next lesson. And finally, you've created your Party Monkey. You've got the monkey, the hat, and hopefully some form of body using the various different shapes. If you've completed those, you're ready to move on to the next lesson. If not, please pause the video at this point and have another watch through and another go at the different activities within this lesson. As always, thank you very much for watching, and if you do have any key questions, please post those into the comments section below.